Lewis and Dave Duncan have been presiding over many wins of late. The Cardinals have been doing it with great offense and terrific defense to go with a good pitching. Tonight, Garrett Stevenson with his 9 wins tries to get into double digits against the Giants. Welcome to downtown St. Louis. Hopefully, unlike last night, the rain will stay away, but the rain didn't bother us too much as the Cardinals won at 7-2 over the Giants, and tonight it's round 2, San Francisco and St. Louis. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everyone. That's Al Raboski. I'm Joe Buck, or Dad to Natalie. Natalie, eat your broccoli. We get ready for baseball here tonight, and Al, looking back at last night, things are looking pretty good around here. And Ankiel, who struggled at the start, settled in, and then they turn it over to Alan Bennis, and that's a pretty good combination.
Well, it really is. And Ankiel, as you mentioned, settled in and only allowed 3 hits in the 6 innings. And, you know, and he gets 6 innings with and keeps the pitch count under 100. Then you turn over to one of the horses down there, Alan Bennis, to close out the game. So I really like this situation where you have Matt Morris and Alan Bennis available to get to Veers or to close out a ball game.
Well, while the Cardinals were winning, so were the Cincinnati Reds. We look at our Pizza Hut division standings, and you find the Cardinals still 6.5 games up over Cincinnati, and without a doubt right now, it is a 2-team race. And again, the Cardinals, the only team in the division over the 500 mark.
Well, did you notice that the Cubs and Cardinals have identical records?
Just reversed.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's reversed. The Cubs are 11 games back, right?
Who's on the mound tonight for the Cardinals? Garrett Stevenson, a 9-game winner, undefeated against National League opponents here in the year 2000. And if people don't believe this guy is good, I mean, sooner or later he's got to start getting credit for the job that he's done every time he's taken the ball.
Well, that's right. He is no longer a weak link, and I think you and I both liked him from the get-go. But he's won 15 of 20 decisions since he's joined the Cardinals, and this guy is the kind of guy that's starting to believe in himself, and he is strong enough. He has the ability. He has a couple complete games, and you just want him to keep on going.
Let's take a look at a comparison for this Cardinal pitching staff and a look at the Cardinal starters. 38 victories of the 40 wins for the team. The relievers, they're getting better as time goes by. We hear from Dave Duncan about the competition between the pitchers on this staff.
As the season started, you saw each and every one of them caring about the other one and cheerleading for them during the game and supporting them when things didn't go the way they should have gone. And it's been the type of situation that you really look for on a major league club, the ideal type of situation.
When you can bring the competition out from taking it from one team against another and bring it within your own house and have one guy against another in a good-natured way pushing each other, then in this day and age with the kind of money being thrown around, that's the best kind of competition, because within this team of talented individuals, they're going to push each other and make each other better.
Yeah, and people may not quite understand what we're talking about, because most of our pitchers show when one of our starters has a rough outing, the big 3 guys, they all go and counsel him and talk to him and how to make it better. So it's a friendly competition just to make each other better, but a lot of pride in the starting 5.
Well, we're going to take a break, come back, and continue to set up tonight's game between the Giants and the Cardinals. It's Stevenson tonight against Hoyleton, Illinois native Kirk Reeder. Back in a moment. We'll be back to our broadcast booth. Joe Buck and Al Raboski still with you. And one thing to pay attention to in a series like this, not just the guys that get all the headlines, not just McGuire and Barry Bonds, the top 2 home run hitters in baseball, but the guys who protect them in the lineup. And I think as we look at our comparison tonight, you're looking at maybe the 2 keys to how this series might unfold.
Well, and I think you also look at 2 lofty averages. Jeff Kent leads the major leagues with leads the National League with 66 RBIs. McGuire and Edmonds actually have 2 more home runs than Jeff Kent and Barry Bonds.
So that is our Hyundai key matchup. The 2 guys who might not get the headlines, but protect the guys who do. Coming up, it's the Cardinals and the Giants, and within this matchup, of course, Mark McGuire, who is still 1 home run away from tying Mike Schmidt for the 7th place on the all-time home run list. It's baseball, Cardinals and Giants next on Fox Sports Net. starters. Kirk Reeder from Hoyleton, Illinois, is not only 4-4 this season with a no decision against the Cardinals, but 7-3 lifetime against St. Louis. And Garrett Stevenson, 9-2 with 1 win, mixed in those 9 against the Giants. Quickly give you a look at the Giants batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. This is their typical lineup. Bernard in center, Bill Miller batting second, Barry Bonds hitting third. Jeff Kent, we've already talked a lot about him, backing up Bonds. Then Snow, Burks, Aurelia the shortstop, Mirabelli is catching tonight. Reeder pitching and batting ninth. And here's Garrett Stevenson, 9-2.
Fastball curve change, not a real high octane, but just getting better because of his angles. And 49 career starts, 23-14.
A 7-10 start right on the nose, and a strike is poured into Bernard to start this game. Missing the corner is Stevenson. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bernard hitting .242. 4 homers, 21 RBIs. First up in this Giant lineup, and strike 2. 80 degrees here at the ballpark. Temperature was down today. Humidity not too bad, and really a pleasant day last night. Turned out a wise decision that they pulled the curtain on the game when the rain hit. Still 1-2 as Bernard tried to tomahawk that one. This guy's always been a tough out for the Cardinals. Doesn't seem to matter who's on the mound. He usually gets his good swings against Cardinal pitching.
He kind of carries a little attitude about himself, and I mean that in a positive way, but he knows how to play the game.
Bernard, how did he get a piece of that one as he fouled it almost behind him into the Cardinal dugout? We will introduce you to the Cardinal defense here in a moment. After the first out or the first batter, whatever. Breaking ball, it's after the first out. And Bernard, who is a career .284 hitter against the Cardinals, is gone. Mark McGuire is at first base, as he typically is. At second base, Placido Polanco. He'll get a lot of time there with Vigna on the DL. Craig Paquette, a big 3-run homer in last night's game over at third. Edgar Renteria is at short. Out in the outfield against the left-hander, typical, with Langford in left field, as Miller checks on him here into left center field. Ray over to get it. 2 out, 2 up, 2 down. We showed you a glimpse of Edmonds in center. Eric Davis is over in right field. Mentioned against a left-handed starter. That's why he's in there. And doing the catching is Matheny for the second straight night, with Garrett Stevenson on the mound. He has 2 up, 2 down, faces Bonds, and that's a free pitch and strike 1. Barry, you don't always get time when you ask for it.
Now you can request it, but it has to be granted. Barry is 0 for his last 3 games and hitless in his last 11 at-bats. Oh, my goodness. Don't you know who I am?
I think he does, and that's why he didn't get time. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That'll end the inning. Into center for Edmonds, and what a quick and easy start to this one for Stevenson. Bonds is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in this series. Bottom of the first rolls in, no score. Or after a half inning tonight, Southwest Airlines starting lineup: Polanco, Renteria, McGuire, Edmonds, Davis, Langford, Paquette, Matheny, and Stevenson batting ninth. Let's take a look at the starter for the Giants. Left-hander Kirk Reeder, 4-4 this season with 1 good start, but no decision against the Cardinals.
Well, he really doesn't have a high-octane fastball, but he has a good changeup and a curveball. For one thing, he's got away from his 4-seamer and he's throwing a lot more sinkers.
I'd like to know this defense better. Fox around the horn. Let's start at first base, J.T. Snow. He sat out last night's game. He's at first tonight. Jeff Kent back at his usual second base position. Bill Miller back at his usual third base position. The shortstop, Rich Aurelia. They all tighten their caps when we show them on the air. Barry Bonds is 0 for 4 in this series in left. Bernard back in center. Over in right field, it's Ellis Burks. He hit 1 home run, had 1 taken away here last night. Doug Mirabelli is the catcher, and Kirk Reeder's on the mound, trying to beat up on the Cards yet again.
You see the 4-4 record, but you mentioned it, a 7-3 against St. Louis, and even more special against here at Busch Stadium, where he's 4-0 with a 2.21 ERA. Of course, he grew up as a Cardinal fan.
These are 2 starters who get it and throw it. Stevenson is a fast worker, and Reeder, when he came to the Giants, the first thing they told him was, you're taking too long between pitches, when he came from the Expos. So unless somebody steps out like Polanco just did, he'll get it and bring it back to the plate. The 0-1 to Placido is a strike. It's 0-2.
Reeder used to throw a four-seamer. That's the one that kind of rides up and away and stays up. And he kind of junked that and has really gained a lot of confidence in a sinker. And it's much more effective.
Pitch was up, and Polanco fouls it back. Placido hitting .326, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. There are the numbers with an ERA, not only the 7 wins and 16 starts, but the ERA just over 3. The 0-2. It'll stay that way.
So the Giants are going to have a real tough decision with Reeder. You know, the hitters go up there and they have a tough time against this guy for 5, 6, 7 innings. Reeder has a lifetime mark of 74 and 43 in 8+ seasons. That's potential to make a lot of money. You know, you look at example, Darren Oliver, who was with the Cardinals last year, goes and gets what, close to $7, $8 million. And the Giants would love to retain Reeder, but not at that price tag. And his numbers and his record would indicate that that's where he should fall, but that's a little bit too high.
Polanco pops it into shallow center, and Bernard will come get it. They have yet to have a base runner. Well, between the two, if you want to compare the two, you take Reeder in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't. He doesn't throw hard. People will think that. But the one thing he does is he wins.
Jamie Moyer makes $7 million a year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I mean, Reeder's the 3rd highest winning percentage for a lefty since 1980. He follows Randy Johnson and Andy Pettit. And it's Kurt Reeder.
Great guy as well. 1 out, nobody on, and Renteria takes ball 1.
Anybody nicknamed Woody. You know, I mean, that just seals the deal right there.
Woody in honor of the toy store. Woody.
And his workshop back home.
2 balls, no strikes on Renteria. So Toy Story, they say he looks like Woody. Voiced by Tom Hanks. Renteria pops it into right. 2 quick and easy outs here at the start of the bottom of the first as Burks puts it away, and McGuire bats with the bases empty.
Joe, I know you can give that stat about Reeder's right fielder Burks, but you know they kind of held out the lineup just to check on his knee, and you know he wanted to be here playing against the Cardinals.
He'd play on crutches out in right field if they let him. He'd hit with the crutch. Might as well. Here's McGuire with 2 out, nobody on. See if he can touch one off. He's hit 25. That's strike 1, and I'm sure happy to make contact. Last night he had a tough time putting the bat on the ball. Bonds is hitless in this series so far, 0 for 4, and McGuire had a base hit. The 2 strikeouts and a walk as well last night. 1-1. Couple of home runs for McGuire against Reeder in their past.
Yeah. Mark, the leading active player in home runs, and Bonds chasing him. He's in 2nd place. Mark chasing Bonds for the major league lead. He trails by 1.
There's a line drive base hit through that stacked infield defense on the left side. He hits it so hard they could put 6 guys over there and he could still find a hole. 1 on, 2 out, and Edmonds coming up.
It's a 5 or 6 game hitting streak now for McGuire. You see Barry. A rare times he has to come in and bend over with McGuire batting.
The 1 on, 2 out, and Edmonds, who homered last night and has hit well in his past against Reeder, stands in. 21 home runs, good for the 3rd best total in the National League, and the 8th best average at .343. Strike 1. top of that, his defense in center field has been, my estimation, unmatched this year in the National League. Andrew Jones, Ken Griffey Jr. included.
Barely Helton in the runs leader in the National League. Just crosses the plate tonight. He can tie it.
Edmonds 4 out of 6 lifetime against Reeder as he waits for an 0-1. Our Casino Queen leaderboard, not only does it show you that the Cardinals are number 3 right behind the Giants and well behind the Rockies, but it shows you that a lot of runs are being scored already at the start of this season. The National League average is 352.
I'll give you a funny stat.
Good pitch, strike 2 on Edmonds.
How about the Giants own the best road offense in the National League, hitting .294 and averaging 6.8 runs on the road, and they've lost 13 of their last 16 road games.
Have an overall record of 12-19. Edmonds grounds to the second baseman. Kent throws him out, and we are through 1 scoreless inning. Giants win in order. Cards leave a man. Into the second, Kent, Snow, Burks coming up. Sunday, June 25th. This Sunday, the Cardinals take on the Dodgers. It's Coca-Cola Mobile Cap Day at the ballpark. For all fans 15 and under with a paid admission, receive this designed baseball cap featuring Ray Langford, Fernando Vina, Darryl Kyle, Pat Henkin. Compliments of Mobile and Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Cardinals. This Sunday, Cards and Dodgers. Ankiel and Kevin Brown. A good pitching matchup. Strike 1 to Jeff Kent to begin the second inning. Kent, Snow, and Burks. If anybody gets on Aurelia. These Giants as a club hitting .288. That's the second best average in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Saw that 66 RBIs. Kent leads the National League. 3rd year in a row he's had 60 RBIs or more before the All-Star break.
He's doing things from the second base position that haven't been done in decades offensively. 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. 2-2. He's handled Garrett Stevenson well, including a home run in that start out in San Francisco. The Cardinals staked Stevenson to a big lead, and he withstood 5+ innings and got the victory. Big breaking ball, and goodbye Jeff Kent. Second strikeout for Stevenson.
I think we were out in, say, L.A. most recent road trip, and Dave Duncan said he had a bullpen session with Garrett Stevenson. Said it was the best curveball he's ever seen him throw, and he's already thrown a couple good ones here tonight.
Tight.
Real tight. And it's 12-6 to begin with, and that's what really makes him 6'5" in that downward action.
Tailing delivery, a fastball for strike 1.
Game's all about angles, and he has some good ones with his height and throwing down.
He also has absolutely no shortage of confidence. The rest of the world might be saying, let's wait until Garrett Stevenson falls out of his tree. He's not going to continue this. Garrett Stevenson doesn't think that way.
Well, and Joe, and I think that's where he got himself in some trouble with his teammates in Philadelphia. He didn't have this success to back up his confidence.
3 balls and a strike on Snow.
But isn't there a little fairy tale about a little choo-choo train going up a hill? You got to think that you can do it before you know, if you don't think you're good, then you never will be.
Snow pops it up. Out is Renteria. He gives way to Langford, as the rule book states, that unwritten rule book of how to play the game in the outfield. Langford takes the play, and 2 out, nobody on.
Batting 6, number 23, right field.
Everybody hustles, but that infielder, and you see Renteria is trying to signal to Langford that he had it, but he's still backpedaling, playing it off to the side, and a much easier play for your left fielder coming in. So that's the proper way to play it.
Hold your ears. Here's Ellis Burks. Strike 1. 8 home runs on the year for Burks, a .333 average. All sorts of knee and quad trouble. What's he done against the Cardinals?
Don't show that. Don't show that.
Oh. Most of that with the Colorado Rockies. But he has not slowed since putting on a Giants uniform. That's the way to make him look.
How about that pitch?
Little squirter for the out. Stevenson looks sharp tonight. I'm hot tonight. Bottom of the second inning. Davis, Langford, Paquette coming up. Cardinals and Giants, no score.
3 brought to you by Schnucks. June 21st, 1959. Stan Musial hit home runs number 652 and 653. Career doubles, breaking Honus Wagner's National League mark in the first game of a doubleheader versus Pittsburgh. Cardinals won 5-1. Stan the man has 725 doubles. There he is.
He's been stuck on that figure for quite a while now.
I can't understand it. You know, I guess if we really looked at it, singles are probably right there. And he needs a couple more home runs or Bond's going to pass him up.
Here's Eric Davis leading it off in the second and plugging the gap in left center field. Hello. That's a shot, and Davis will end up at second base with nobody out. Boy, has he been something this season. Adds to his .303 average. He does a little bit of everything for you, including produce on the field.
So he had been only 1 for 12 against Reeder. And he's changed his hands. As he's gotten a little older, he's gotten a little smarter. He used to hold them very, very low. Now he's got them a little higher. Easier for him to pull the trigger. But it's time for us to give Eric Davis a lot of credit for what he has done, not only on the field, but he is a big part of that clubhouse. And I think a big part of the maturing process for a guy like Garrett Stevenson also.
He was one of the guys that served Garrett a wake-up call of sorts and said, come on, snap out of it. Stop blowing these leads. I mean, It was simple, but it worked. Runner at second, nobody out, and Langford took a strike. He doesn't think so. Neither do I. 0-1. What he's done here at home as a Cardinal, coming up in 1990, a .292 career average at Busch Stadium with 103 home runs. Runner at second, nobody out. Boy, that's a wide plate. 0-2. So Langford didn't like the first 2 calls against him, and now we'll see if he can at least put it in play and get Davis over to third.
You know, if you're a pitcher, you try to take advantage of that. You see a little exchange between a batter and an umpire. You try and widen it even further.
Yeah, this will be 1.5 feet off the outside corner. 1-2.
You're exactly right. It was 1.5 feet. Half foot might have gotten called.
All that tells you is that Reeder and Mirabelli are paying attention. A ball and 2 strikes on Ray. Knocked home a run in the first inning in last night's game. Was driven in 28. And he goes. Who can blame him? 1 out. Runner still at second, 1 away. A strikeout. It's the first for Reeder. He gets it right when he needs it. Now Paquette and Matheny will have to come up with hits to drive home the run.
Number 21, third baseman, Paquette.
Here's Paquette. Paquette hitting .251. He hit the ball hard 4 times last night. Had 2 hits, one of them a 3-run home run.
Told me he needs to get 4 hits tonight to kind of get back on track, but of late he's been on target.
1-1.
You know, we knew he had been struggling a little bit, and then he broke the last digit on his middle finger. And he said just that time off where he kind of just thought about some things, kind of rested his mind a little bit, and it's got him back in some good habits.
6th home run of the year last night. Of course, started the season in grand fashion with that home run, filling in for the injured McGuire. That's what he's done with the runners in scoring position, but he's not alone with that average under 200. Runner at second, Davis, 1 out. Paquette Fouls it away, and that's strike 2.
One thing that Reeder normally can really control the outside part of the plate and gets a lot of hitters off balance, and saw with Langford trying to check his swing. There was a defensive swing. Last night he was in target. 3-run home run, part of a big 4th inning. A 4-run inning in the 5th inning propelled the Cardinals to the victory.
Backdoor breaking ball, 1-2. Backdoor was locked.
Couldn't get in.
See if Paquette can drive home the run and give the Cardinals and Stevenson a 2nd inning lead. Runner at second, 1 out, and Paquette pops it into center. Back to get it, moving Marvin Bernard. Tagging and moving to third is Davis, and he's there with 2 out. So Langford couldn't get him over, therefore that fly ball just gets him to third. 2 down, it's up to Matheny. The National Sports Report featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective tonight after the game. After the Giants and Cardinals, the National Sports Report here for you on Fox Sports Net. Here's Matheny, time for a 2-out RBI hit. He's driven in 20 this year, hitting .260.
Starting in his 51st game of the first 70. The job behind the plate he's done.
And he's chipped in offensively from time to time. Got off to a great start. He's settled in at about .260, and he's been around that mark for a while. That's a nice number to show. And away Doug Stanton. 412 with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. His 2-out RBI hits are huge. And of course Reeder in this spot. When you look farther in the order, you see Stevenson, who's 0 for 23. They're going to put Matheny on. Pitch to Garrett. So once Matheny wouldn't nibble and go after those first couple of pitches, they put him on, and it's going to take, and it's going to happen.
Yes.
Eventually, the first hit of the year for Garrett Stevenson.
And if it comes here, he'll get his first RBI. That's one of the things. He's got the double zero. He's got no batting average, but no RBIs. And those pitchers also have a little competition in the hitting department also.
He's getting grief for it, but I did a radio interview with him before a game out in L.A. recently. And I said, would you go hitless for the rest of the season if you were guaranteed 20 wins? He said, are you nuts? I don't care about hitting, except in this spot. Trying to knock home a run. He cares now. First and third, 2 out. And a little fly ball into shallow right. Out is Kent. There's the hit. In to score is Davis. Over to third, Matheny, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. And you can go ahead and smile, Garrett. Of all the ways to get a hit, a little floater.
Well, that's the way he's going to get his hits. But how about, this little clunker out there right off the end of the bat, slicing it this way. Can't get to it. We talked about Burks has been hobbled a little bit. He's not 100%. And, he just puts the ball in play. Kind of the theory of Hinkin. But because of this loft, you see the 1 run come across for the Cardinals. But Matheny gets all the way to third. That could be big.
That even put a smile on the face of Stan Royer, who's in our booth here in our Fox Sports Net luxury suite, eating free pretzels. First and third, 2 out, and a ball low to Polanco. Hole number 5 is back in the house. First and third, 2 out. Eric Davis started the inning with a double, and it's not wasted. Now Polanco could make it a real pleasant inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Polanco hitless so far out of that leadoff spot since taking over for Vigna. Fly to center his first time up.
He's 0 for his last 9 and 0 for 1 here tonight against Reeder, but Polanco still .333 average in his 27 starts.
First and third, 2 out, the 1-1. Now Polanco's set up. He's got that swing. Looks like he's continually trying to go to right.
So that's not a bad approach for a little guy. And part of his problem has been getting underneath a few balls, hitting him in the fly balls. But if you take a guy that a lot of times lives on the outside, and if you try and go to the opposite field, that's a good place to start.
Another one to right. This will be handled by Burks. Back to his left. The Cards get a run. They get it on the first hit of the year by Garrett Stevenson. He's not only 9-2. He's now 1 out of 24. His first RBI. Cards up by 1. Cardinal fans, here's the opportunity of a lifetime for your family to be the family of the game. It's easy. Send in a postcard and you're entered to win. One lucky family will be selected at random from the entries received. You can be the Southwest Airlines family of the game. Log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of e-freedom. So Garrett Stevenson back to work. Ball players rarely allow themselves a smile out on the field for fear of it upsetting somebody on the other team in the other dugout. That old line of showing somebody up. But even Garrett couldn't fight back the smile after that base hit into right. A 2-out RBI hit to give the Cardinals a lead here tonight.
There's a time and a place, but I mean, I think you know he's not showing anybody up by smiling after that base hit.
We go to the third. The first 6 have been retired in order by Stevenson. Here's Aurelia. And there's out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out as Edmonds goes back to get it. Mirabelli coming up, the number 8 hitter. Baseball Thursday. Barry Bonds and the Giants take on Jim Edmonds and the Cardinals tomorrow night, 7 p.m. here on Fox Sports Net. I'm guessing my good friend Kenny Albert will be in town with most likely Jeff Torborg. That's the crew usually here. One out, nobody on. Here's Mirabelli, the other half of the catching tandem of Estalella and Mirabelli. A little low for ball 1. Mirabelli's hit 4 home runs. Estalella, last night's starting catcher, has hit 7. So they're getting some production from that tandem. Way late. 1-1.
Kind of have to like what you've seen from Garrett. Very efficient with his pitches.
And he can hit.
And he can hit. And get, big 2-out base hits too, Joe. I mean,
that's back at us and just under the booth. So strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Mirabelli took strike 3. Fastball poured over the inside corner. That's 3 strikeouts. I want to talk about Merrimack Caverns. I'm dying to talk about Merrimack. Somebody please let me. Thursday is a 7-10 game. That's tomorrow. The Giants and Cardinals, and all paying fans 11 and under receive 1 admission to Merrimack Caverns Cave Tour and Boat. That is tomorrow night. Cardinals and the Giants. Compliments of Merrimack Caverns. Here's Reeder. There's a pop-up. And Stevenson couldn't make it look any easier. The shortstop Renneria over to get it. 9 up, 9 retired. Renneria, McGuire, Edmonds coming up for the Cards in the third, up by 1.
To you by a brewery, fresh Budweiser. Brewery brewed to deliver the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste of the king of the beers. This Bud's for you.
Tomorrow on the FSN Game of the Week, the old Baseball Thursday. Some other guys will be wearing these headsets, sitting in this booth. Saturday and Sunday against the Dodgers. Saturday's on Fox 2, the Game of the Week. Sunday, WB11, and then off on the road trip. And now that'll be, I'm sure, an exciting and, if it's possible, here early in the season, a very pivotal 4-game set coming up in Cincinnati next week.
Well, it'll be very fun, and it's going to be a lot more important for the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, we have 7 games coming up in a matter of in a very quick time, I guess, before the All-Star break against Cincinnati.
Then, believe it or not, these Giants will be right back here to close out the first half of the season. Yeah, we see you. We see you back there. Stop waving. Grow up. 1-0, the Cardinals lead, and Renteria leads it off. Edgar, McGuire, and Edmonds. Yeah, we see you. All right. It's a big moment. Roll the VCR.
They're talking to each other.
Here's the 2-0. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Everybody who sits down there should have their phones confiscated. That is the most annoying trend in every ballpark across the country. Here's the 2-1. That's pretty well hit into left field, but it's going to hang up for Bonds. Edgar Renteria just got under it. 1 away. And Renteria's 0 for 2. That'll bring in McGuire, who singled through the, as I said, in the first inning. Stacked infield defense on the left side. They put the shift on again with a hope that McGuire will hit another bullet right at somebody this time.
25, huh?
25 what?
Number 25. No, I don't want to interrupt the at bat, but just think about 25 for a minute.
1 out, nobody on, and number 25, who has hit 25, takes a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Mirabelli is asking for an appeal down to first, and Eric Cooper is unwilling. They're asking. Now they'll ask over to the first base umpire.
This is a relatively very young umpiring crew, and I'm thinking Jeff Kellogg may be the crew chief. They kept it secret from everybody else.
Weren't they just asking for an appeal as to whether McGuire swung at the pitch?
I think so, but they did it, and he came up and showed Dusty a 1 like it's ball 1, just like I said.
That's ridiculous. McGuire takes ball 2.
You know, Joe, that's one of those situations where why not appease the manager or the catcher and just ask for help? I mean,
the 2-0 to McGuire is up and away 3-0. If that is what just happened, and the home plate umpire was that upset that he was being asked to appeal down to first, that he had to show everybody up and walk down the first baseline, McGuire takes a strike. That's ridiculous.
I can understand somebody saying, hey, I saw it very clearly, but get the play right.
3-2.
All right. Mark's tricking him. Want to get to this full count. Now he doesn't know, should I walk him or go ahead and give him a home run pitch?
The 3-2, he walked him. You hear a lot fewer boos these days with Edmonds in the lineup.
Yeah, and Joe, this is a prime example. You get people keep on saying, well, why is McGuire batting, third now? Well, the reason he's batting third today is because Dusty Baker is one of these managers that will walk McGuire every time he gets a chance to. And so it's more important for Tony to put a powerful bat behind him than to have one in front of him. And that's why Edmonds is batting behind McGuire. 1
on, 1 out, and Edmonds hits a clunker to the second baseman. They still are able to get the lead runner, McGuire. It's 1 on, 2 out of the force out 4-6.
Right fielder, Eric.
Mac trying to time it a little bit just to kind of screen the second baseman, but by doing so, it just ensured that Kent was going to be able to get the lead man. Watch Mark tippy-toe. Of course, he didn't want to hit it, but he's trying to screen so maybe that Kent would lose sight of it, bobble the ball. But by doing so, they sure ensured that they could get the lead man.
One of the 2 guys responsible for the Cardinal 1-0 lead is at the plate. Eric Davis took the first pitch from Reeder and shot it into the left center field gap his first time up and scored on the 2-out hit by the other guy responsible, Garrett Stevenson. Good pitch from Reeder, strike 1.
See, Eric's 24, so this year it's 25. Happy 25th wedding anniversary to John and Kathy Sanders. It's really tough, though, John. She's only 24 years old.
Here's the 0-1. Davis trying to go the opposite way. Or just chased one. 0-2. Away for the first two pitches to Eric Davis.
Then he throws enough inside just to keep hitters honest or to jam them on occasion.
JT Snow over at first base with Dad Jack on a little portable stool that's out behind the plate, sitting in the high rent district. They didn't get him only because of a great athletic move by Edmonds. He's stuck in the dirt, pulled the arms away, and Snow missed the tag.
See, there it is. And I tell you what, you got to give Mike Van Fleet, first base umpire, credit for staying with the call. And it was the correct call because he didn't dive, he got stuck.
That was great. 0-2 on Davis. Hard hit. What a play by Aurelio. Took a hit away from Davis, who's dialed in. A smash to short. Cards strand their fourth. Into the fourth. 1-0 St. Louis. And takes a strike. It'll be the top of the order. Bernard, Miller, and Bonds for the Giants, who trail by 1. And now Bernard takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. And before we go along any further in this inning, we want to welcome in Larry Smith, the head football coach at the University of Missouri, as Bernard leans back from 1 up and in and glares out at Stevenson. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing good, Joe. How about you?
All right, good. You, I know you're not relaxed. You're all charged up and ready to go.
Well, I got to take a little vacation here first.
I know.
We've been working all these high school camps and spring recruiting, and now our players are back on campus working out and everything. So
here's Bernard striking out for the second time, and that's 4 strikeouts, 1 in each inning so far for Garrett Stevenson. So you do the camps, and I know you're doing it for the benefit of these youths, and I'm sure that you also keep one eye peeled,
you're looking for talent. That's exactly right. Sure. I mean, we had over 2,000 kids in our camps this summer.
That's great. I'm sure that's some of the most fun stuff you do.
It is. It really is, because you get a chance to interact with the youngsters out of high school and their coaches.
Here's Miller. He takes a strike. Tell us about the Missouri Tigers for this upcoming season.
Well, I think we have a chance to have a good football team. I think that we took our lumps last year, but we were really, really young. We're like 2/3 of our team are freshmen or sophomores, and now those kids have all matured a little bit. And we got some excellent players coming back. You know, our number 1 guy, Justin Smith, is a great defensive end, and most likely to be named most of the All-American teams. He has a pretty good year, which I think he will. And we got a fine group of youngsters on offense, some real exciting players at receiver, and we think we got Kurt Farmer, our quarterback that broke his leg last year, is back. So.
Here's a ground ball to first, picked up by Mark McGuire. 2 up, 2 down before we continue with Coach, and we will, if we need to, continue through to the bottom of the 4th inning. We give you the Aflac trivia question. The Cardinals starters have 38 of the team's 40 wins. Who has the other 2? Think about that for a moment. But it's amazing that the starters have combined for 38 wins. Here's Barry Bonds. I was going to ask you the quarterback question. That's been something that since Corby left, you guys have kind of had up in the air.
We've struggled a little bit with that. And last year, I think we were on the right track. We worked with 2 quarterback system with Jimmy Daugherty and Kurt Farmer. And when Kurt got hurt in the 6th game, that really threw that into a lot of jeopardy. So, you know, Jimmy had to take the rest of the season out of there, and it really, you know, he wasn't quite ready. He did a heck of a job. And I think that, you know, he went through spring practice, and the 2 of them together, we're going to be ready to go. I think the key thing is Kurt's back healthy, and I think that, you know, they'll together be able to shoulder the whole thing again, with Kurt most likely projecting to be the starter.
And I'm sure you get tired of the kicking game questions.
Oh, yeah.
That's always been a pain in the neck down there.
Yeah, it sure has. We've had a young kicking team, and I think that for the first time in a long time, we got both our punter and our place kicker are coming back. They're both to be juniors. They've got a year of experience under their belt. We've got a lot of our special teams themselves are like that. Guys that have been playing for a year now and are a little older and mature, and I think we're going to be a much better special teams.
1 on, 2 out. The batter is Kent after Bonds was hit by a pitch, so he's on base for the first time in this series. And Kent, who's hit 18 home runs, watches Stevenson look at the runner. Bonds, are you a big baseball fan?
Oh, yeah, I love baseball. Yeah, I've always been a baseball fan since I was a kid growing up in Ohio. And we used to go watch the Reds and the Indians play, and you know, I had an opportunity to see some great players like Ted Williams and people like that play. So I've always followed baseball very closely and been fortunate every place I've coached. There's been a major league team in that area.
They have a pretty good tradition out in Southern California where you were for a while.
I lived about 15 minutes from Dodger Stadium, so we could drive over and catch a game anytime we wanted to, and it was really neat. But they sure do. They have a great tradition out there.
Kent with an 0-1 count. Stevenson mixing and matching those pitches, trying to get through 4 scoreless. Hit Bonds. He's at first. The 0-1 is outside. Have you been able? It's been a while now, but the lifestyle in L.A. and the whole recruiting process in California has got to be so totally different than it is here in the West.
It is, Joe. It's I mean, I was born and raised in Ohio, as I mentioned earlier, and so it was good to get back to the good old Midwestern values and pace of life. And out there, it's a pretty doggone fast lane. I'm going to tell you that right now. And it's just a totally different picture than what it is around here. And I think that the values are different. I think that particularly for a family person, I think it really Midwestern values there just isn't a better situation than that.
A ball and 2 strikes on Kent. A strikeout victim his first time up, leading this league in RBIs with a 66. Runner at first is Bonds, and a check on him. That was relatively close. Bonds has a big lead, and he's stolen 8. I don't know if you have a number, and I'm putting you on the spot by asking you if you know it. But if you don't know it, we'll get it from Mike Kelly, who's behind you, a number for people who might be interested in season tickets.
I think, and again, I think what it is you call cat paws. And I think that would just the letters cat paws will give you the ticket office.
Now you're assuming that the people out there can spell cat paws.
You got to, yeah.
I don't know that I could do that. Might take me 10 minutes. A hug from Bonds to McGuire. He's happy to be on base. We'll continue with Larry in a minute. Cardinal starters have 38 of the 40 wins for the team who have the other 2. And, well, you might be surprised to know Mike Moeller, who has since departed, and Heathcliff Slocum, who got it early. Otherwise, it's been the rotation racking up win after win. And Garrett Stevenson is number 2 in line behind Kyle's 10. Stevenson has 9. We continue with Coach Larry Smith for a moment as Langford leads it off and takes a strike over the outside corner. He was a victim of that outside corner his first time up, and Reeder goes right back there his second time up. The 0-1 going away. We have had validation, verification from Mike Kelly that it is 1-800-CAT-PAWS for ticket information. We are talking with the Missouri head football coach Larry Smith. The 1-1 pitch. Langford, strike 2. I asked you during the break, and I know a lot of Mizzou fans want to know how Corby Jones is doing. How's he doing?
Well, Corby just was released today from the Montreal Canadiens in the Canadian League, and so he is currently talking to some other teams from the Canadian League, and if not there, there's been some NFL teams that have expressed interest in him as a running back, to go to camp as a running back. So I think something will come up here in the next week or 2, but I know that he's pretty anxious to get back into it.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Langford, and they call him out of the outside corner. Not happy with that call, but well, he is now in the umpire's doghouse as he goes back to the dugout. I would imagine that when Corby was there, you appreciated, you knew how good that guy was, and then after he left, you really realized how good and appreciated him.
Yeah, the things that Corby brought to the table were some things that not even as a football player. He was a great athlete, pure, and he was a tremendous competitor and a great leader. And along beside that. Then, of course, he was our starter for 3.5 years, and so he had the experience factor. So, he was a guy that, took us a long way. It really helped us get over the hump of those 13 losing seasons.
Paquette checks on Miller to his left, picks it up, throws him out. 2 up, 2 down. That's the good and the bad. You have Corby Jones. He's your guy. You don't have to worry about that position. But then when he's gone, somebody has to take over. And talking about Doherty and now Farmer, and it sounds like you're kind of leaning toward.
Well, I think that both of them will play. I think that Kurt is the guy that's got some tremendous tools. And breaking that leg last year and losing those last 5 games really hurt him. It hurt our rotation, period. And I think it probably kept us out of a bowl game. And but I think that we've got 2 fine quarterbacks that now have some experience, and they'll both be healthy, and I think they'll be able to complement each other, with probably Farmer being the starter.
Here's Matheny. He takes a strike. Well, 1-800-CAT-PAWS to get in on the fun. Coach Larry Smith, good to see you. Good to know that you're a baseball fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Good luck to the Tigers this year.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Pleasure having him with us. Larry Smith, University of Missouri. The 0-1 pitch is outside. A ball and a strike on Mike Matheny. Intentionally walked his first time just before Stevenson picked up his first hit of the year, and it was good for a 2-out RBI to make it 1-0, which it is right now. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Strike 2 on Matheny. An hour into this game, and the Cardinals and Giants are rapidly approaching the 5th inning. Stevenson waits on deck. The 1-2 to Matheny, who's hit 3 home runs. Inside corner, and you throw it, we call it. Big strike zone tonight. That's fine. 3rd strikeout for Reeder after 4. 1-0 Cardinals.
I'm Sheila E. New national.
Overseas can be a hard stuck.
Guests of Cardinal baseball receive a gift certificate to Chevy's Fresh Mex. Stop by one of the 7 locations where the food's made fresh every day. Dave Duncan, our guest earlier, and he gets a gift certificate. No word yet as to whether Larry Smith does. On Friday, June 23rd, the Cards play the Dodgers. That's this Friday. Southwestern Bell Communications Pin Night. First 30,000 fans with paid admission receive a collector's pin highlighting Mark McGwire's record of 50 or more home runs in 4 consecutive years. That's from Southwestern Bell Communications, the official telecommunications provider of the St. Louis Cardinals. This Friday, 7:10, Cards and Dodgers. Here's J.T. Snow, to be followed by Ellis Burks and Rich Aurelian.
Hit 348 in his last 25 games.
One ball, 1 strike. And that should get out of play for strike 2. It does. 1-2. Dad was given a makeshift seat.
Oh, look at the ring. Look at the ring. He used to always wipe his hand with, or his face with his left hand, but now he does it with his right hand so he could flash that.
He knew he was
that
on camera.
rig.
When you're the father of one of the visiting team's players, they make a seat for you. Snow lines one into right center field. Edmonds will try to cut it off. Can't. That's at least a double. He rounds second and will hold there. A leadoff double. There's the tying run, and with Dad watching from about 90 feet away behind the plate, Snow wraps a double into right center. That's my ball.
Hey, don't be showing that favoritism now. Hanging breaking ball a little bit out over the plate, and JT plugs the gap. Of course, Edmonds and JT were longtime teammates with the California Angels. And I'm sure, a straight double all the way, the first hit of the game.
First hit of the game for the Giants. And now there's the tying run for Cardinal killer Ellis Burks. Bounced out to first. His first time up. Takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Had a nice talk with Ellis when we were out in San Francisco, and I got the impression and got the confirmation yesterday that he's looking to go into the broadcast booth after his career is over.
Well, no wonder he'll start being nice to us now.
No, he's always been a nice guy.
No, just kidding.
But you know what? There's some talk that if the Giants can't pick up ground and get themselves back into this pennant race, that Burks would maybe be traded around the All-Star break or at the trading deadline, and more than likely he would have to go to American League club so he could DH. into those legs.
0-1 the count with a runner at second, Snow, and nobody out. That's the tying run out there. Strike two. And like Reeder won it after a leadoff double in the Cardinals' second, Stevenson wants a strikeout here with a tough hitter at the plate. Reds lead at home, bottom of the sixth inning over the Rockies 4-3. Rojo and Nagel pitching in that game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Back to Stevenson, just past him, so the runner goes to third, one away. Garrett tried to get there, but couldn't it once it got past him. Snow went to third, one out. The National Sports Report, featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective, is next, right after this game between the Cards and Giants here on Fox Sports Net. So a runner at third, one out, and the number 7 hitter, Rich Aurelia, at the plate. And the Cardinal infield comes in. Aurelia's driven in 25. He's hit 6 home runs. He's a threat. Average 247 after flying to center his first time up, but now a pop-up foul and out of play. Go ahead, Al.
You know, Joe, we see tonight's super fans, but I got this note, and really kind of embarrassed. You can see that it really, I know I'm happily married, so this is really for our bachelor, Dan. But the nursing managers and nursing administrators at Southeast Missouri Hospital in Cape Girardeau all say hello, but it's a very personal message here to our only bachelor in the group. Very, very personal.
Runner at third, one out. And a ball and a strike. I didn't know Dan could do this.
Oh, Dan, you know, he's excited in the back of the booth now. I thought he was sitting with those ladies, but if he saw that note, he'd be in real trouble.
1 ball, 1 strike with the infield coming in.
There he is. There he is.
Blushing in the back of the booth.
Oh, the most eligible bachelor in St. Louis. And there's his lovelies from Cape Girardeau.
What's this about a Vegematic on this note?
You know, I mean.
2 balls. Let's do baseball. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at third. And strike 2. Stevenson has struck out 1 in each inning. He would love one here in the 5th. Infield is in for the play at the plate. And Aurelia trying to tie this game. Choked up a bit, the 2-2. That will tie this game. Back on the run, Edmonds at the wall. What a catch. Bangs into the wall. Tagging and scoring is Snow, and it's a 1-1 game. That was a sac fly and a Willie Mays catch on the other end.
Pretty good.
And this crowd to its feet for Edmonds.
There he goes, and going back, the ball kind of took off on him, but he jumps up, catches it in the middle of the warning track, and then bounces into the wall, holds on to it, most importantly.
Standing ovation for another Edmonds catch. 2 out, nobody on. Mirabelli. You know, that's the thing we talked about earlier in the night, and it is very true, and it's something that I think we take for granted. That is how much better this defense is at just about every position.
Well, we know our pitching staff is better. But the easiest way to make an improvement on your pitching staff is to improve the defense, and we've done that.
A little check swing comebacker, and Stevenson takes care of Mirabelli. He gives up a run. He gets good defense from Edmonds in center. And with that, it's a 1-1 game halfway through it with Stevenson set to lead it off.
In order to win a championship or your division, win a championship in the World Series, you have to be strong with the middle. Matheny's been phenomenal throwing out runners this year. Vigna, best guy. 14 years playing, I have not seen a guy that turned a double play quicker than him. We're way far ahead of the turning double plays. He's getting us out of innings, getting us out of trouble. And with Jim Edmonds, Gold Glove center fielder, really complements Eric, J.D., and Ray out there, moves them around, can go get the ball anywhere. And you know what? Has probably one of the most accurate arms in the game. Throws that good four-seamer in there and tries to throw out the runners. And I tell you what, it's something that's gone overlooked, and hopefully people will start seeing it more often now than just our offense.
Well stated by Mark McGuire, and there's Jim Edmonds after another over-the-shoulder grab. He took a home run away here last night. Here's Stevenson. He's feeling good about himself. A big swing and a miss. Strike one. Garrett an RBI single in tonight's game. And here's that catch again by Edmonds. The sac fly by Aurelia.
Goes back on it, jumps up over the shoulder catch, and has enough time to cushion the blow up against the padded center field wall.
0-2 on Stevenson. Polanco will be next, then Renteria. Anybody gets on in the inning, McGuire. A 1-1 game now, bottom of the fifth. And well pitched, to say the least, by Reeder and Stevenson. Stevenson's gone, and that's strikeout number 4 for Reeder. Cardinals Game Day magazine has published the perfect keepsake souvenir for Willie McGee fans, a career tribute issue. It celebrates Willie's wonderful Major League career. This month you'll receive this special issue for free by signing up for a year's subscription to the Cardinal magazine. Give them a call at 314-982-7336. Special offer, 982-7336. And I would say there are a few Willie McGee fans out there listening. Here's Polanco in a rut. His average is at .321. He is 0 for 2 tonight.
0 for his last 10.
Strike one. Nice sized crowd here tonight. A little bigger, it would appear, than we had here last night. Tickets do remain for the game tomorrow night. That'll get out of play.
Well, the Cardinals have gone over the 3 million mark in tickets sold for the season. So, I mean, you get it later into the summer, and those weekend tickets can be real tough to get. But so I would recommend everyone to jump on that charge line and get your ticket request in right now. Tatis took batting practice today, simulated batting practice off of Dave Wainhouse. And he's going to do that again Friday. You know, Tony's kind of lobbying. He wants to activate him right away, where the medical staff is saying, well, we'll compromise instead of sending him to the minor leagues. And Tony didn't really like to send position players to the minor leagues. But the medical staff kind of compromised and said, well, let's do the simulated games. But I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to see Tatis on the roster by next week.
By Cincinnati.
By Cincinnati. Like I'm didn't want to go too far on the limb, but look for Monday, if not Friday.
That's into right field. Burke's on the move. Nice play. He always seems to come up with something. 2 up, 2 down. Doesn't move around as well as he used to, but he covers some ground out in right. The last word, Jim Rome and his guests discuss what the future holds for the NBA. Rome will be joined by Spurs guard Steve Kerr, former NBA coach Mike Fratello, and Mavericks owner Mark Cuban tonight at 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. The czar of the telestrator. 2 out, nobody on, and Renteria takes a ball. I hope Kenny Albert's listening. And I hope he'll be here tomorrow night for the finale of this set. And again, that will be found right here on Fox Sports Net. Well, this is a rather important at bat. 2 out, nothing doing now, but McGuire waits on deck. And it's 2-1.
And you want to have some way that Reeder has to pitch to McGuire. And they've already demonstrated it doesn't necessarily, if he leads off an inning, that they will pitch to him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. McGuire over in his trance over near the on-deck circle. You're a ship gently rocking, rocking, rocking. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Do you visualize broadcasts that you're going to have before you actually put the headset on, like he visualizes at bats?
No, I do have nightmares, though, so but I don't know if that's a correlation.
Snow to his right. He's one of the best in the business. Nice play feeding Reeder, and those two tangle up a little bit down the line. That'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning for Reeder, and that'll do it for the first 5 innings. We go to the 6th. Reeder will lead it off in the 6th inning for the Giants. It's a 1-1 game. Get in your car with all your Dobbs tires and parts. Be well insured with Aflac and drive to Steak and Shake and have a burger. 0-1 the count on Reeder, leading it off in the 6th inning of a 1-1 game. It's 0-2. Reeder is 0 for 1. Robbie Thompson, the first base coach. There you go, Al. Let's talk about Robbie Thompson later.
Yeah, well, tongue depressors are found something better. The fork. But see, that's a $1 million all-star player. Pitchers just get tongue depressed.
It's even taped. So that's not just like a fork that they found in the Cardinal club. That's something that they actually travel with. That can be used as a weapon. Now, you can't get through airport security with that thing. One out, nobody on, and Bernard. Strike 1.
No telling what our cameras will pick up. And or what we will show you.
Yeah, that's one thing. A lot of television crews will find that stuff. It's only the one that you're looking at that'll actually show it to you. The 0-1 to Bernard. 0-2. Stevenson just keeps on firing strikes. Not only has he not walked anybody, he hasn't come close to walking anybody. And a little floater that's caught by Polanco. 2 up, 2 down. Earlier tonight, the Cardinals recognized Matthew Epperly of Cairo and Pierce Yates of Cape Girardeau. Matthew was the winner and Pierce the runner-up in the Missouri State High School Activities Association Junior High Sportsmanship Essay Contest during the past year. Fox Sports Net congratulates them both, and they were with us tonight. And their new essay next year will be My Night in the Cardinal Television Broadcast Booth and the Reasons Why I Do Not Want to Do Television for a Living. Mixed in amongst this humanity in the back are the two.
The winners waved their hand. Wave. Who's the winners? No, that's Mom. Okay. He's a winner right there.
It's a quick group back there. The problem is we're on a little bit of a delay, so whatever we say now, a few seconds later they hear it. The 0-2 to Miller is chopped foul again.
It's called a satellite, huh?
That's right. Then there's Tim Garcia.
What is his function?
He's the most valuable guy in this whole crew. Don't kid yourself. The 0-2. McGuire to his right. Have we done any baseball tonight? We're not doing justice to a 1-1 game in the 6th inning. That'll do it for the Giants. They go in order. Bonds will lead off in the 7th. The big guy's coming up now in the bottom of the 6th.
Fair St. Louis is holding its 20th annual 4th of July celebration on July 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Come down to the riverfront, enjoy the festivities. Entertainment includes fireworks each night, air show twice daily, great food, concerts featuring Ray Charles, 38 Special, Neil McCoy, and Casey and the Sunshine Band, and more. For more information, call the Fair St. Louis office at 314-434-3434 or visit the website at www.fairstlouis.org.
Here is Mark McGuire leading it off, a 1-1 game. It's ball 1 from Reeder. You feel it? Do you feel lucky? Do you feel like this is it? Do you think this is number 548? Do you think this is number 26 on the year? It's 2-0.
Well, that's what I said. Dusty Baker has really instructed his pitchers not to give in to McGuire. Don't let him beat him.
2-1. 82-mile-per-hour pitch for the outside part. 2 balls and a strike. McGuire, Edmonds, and Davis will try to do something about this 1-1 score in the 6th. Three balls and a strike. See if Kirk wants to challenge McGuire. Oh, the home plate umpire raised up, was about to ring up strike 2, and stopped. A leadoff walk. You know, Reeder saw the same thing we did. Watch the umpire. Whoop. Ah, no, ball 4.
Well, and McGuire, being a professional, he thought it was ball 4, and even more particularly, he knew it wasn't a pitch he could drive, so he accepts a walk. Reeder has to think that it's strike 2 and going to run the count full, but he doesn't get the call. His 3rd walk, one of them was intentional.
Now Edmonds is either struck or the ball struck the bat. And out to the plate is Brad Henderson. The home plate umpire is calling foul ball.
Tony's going to, why is my man laying on the ground? Why is he in pain? Because the ball didn't hit him.
I don't think it hit him.
I don't think it did either. I think this will be a tighter look and see if it hits the bat.
That didn't hit him. The magic of videotape.
Well, closer and closer.
Unless it glanced off his hand and then the bat, but it clearly struck the bat and changed direction.
You had an incident with Edmonds in Saturday where he was credited with a hit by pitch and obviously didn't hit him, right?
That's right. Hey, why not? If you can get down to first base and you can get a freebie, take it. But I don't think this ball hit him.
It hard to tell because of the white part of the glove, but it sure looked like it was in the middle of the bat.
Either way, it is strike 1 and now ball 1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 on, nobody out. A 1-1 game in the 6th. 2-1 from Reeder. See if the 3rd walk of the game for Reeder, which was to the first batter in the 6th inning, comes back to haunt him. Three balls and a strike.
Last night, Jim Edmonds takes a home run away from Burt. This time, it is a sacrifice fly by Aurelia, but makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch. But here, we're on offense.
The 3-1. Full count.
So that was his 83rd pitch by Reeder, and or 84 now. And statistically, they've always kind of tracked him and say when he reaches about 90 pitches, he starts losing command and control of his pitches, and then he gets hit hard.
Pitch number 85 is a 3-2 delivery to Edmonds. 1 on, nobody out. And pitch number 86 will be as well.
So that'll be something interesting to watch.
They don't hold against McGuire at first. 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again.
He might get to 90 on this at bat.
Reeder in a battle with Edmonds.
Yeah, that wide stance by Jim trying to keep himself from lunging out.
I think that's 87, so pitch 88 coming now. Big crowd waiting and hoping for some more thrills from Jim Edmonds. This has been some kind of a series for him. The 2 catches, the home run last night. To be a hero again here. And we'll do it again. He might get to 90 pitches in this at bat.
Edmonds had faced Reeder 6 times before tonight. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but he was 4 for 6 in the previous meetings in interleague play.
Three balls, 2 strikes, and Edmonds lines one caught by Aurelia. Great battle, and Edmonds has a hit taken away on a diving attempt and catch by Aurelia.
Good base running by Mark McGuire. First thing that Dave McKay is going to say is don't get doubled up on a line drive. But let's take a look. Jim Edmonds reaches out, just kind of throws the bat at it, but under control, and has a hit taken away. You see, stretches out, and because of that wide stance, you know, he's still able to make contact that way instead of having a short stride and be totally off balance and not be able to reach that outside pitch.
So now out to the mound is Mirabelli. They're going to try to figure out a different plan of attack on Eric Davis. Davis has a double and a run scored, and he hit a tracer out to short his next time up. So Reeder hasn't fooled him yet. Ball 1.
90 pitches now for Reeder. So let's see how accurate the scouting report or the statistical data that he starts losing control after 90.
2-0.
See, it's perfect. It's working. He'll never throw another strike. Or if he does, it's hit hard.
Bullpen is quiet on each side. 6th inning of a 1-1 game. Only a total of 4 hits. The Giants have only 1 of them. Tough play for Miller. Out at second and out at first. A nicely turned double play with Kent in the middle. 5-4-3. A leadoff walk doesn't hurt Reeder. We go to the 7th. Still tied at 1. You've been begging for it, and now it's here. Saturday, June 24th, the Cards play the Dodgers. It's McDonald's Shell Coin Day at the ballpark. Fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a collector's coin featuring Fernando Vina. Compliments of Shell and McDonald's. That's this Saturday at 12:15 start with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Garrett Stevenson back to the hill. He's allowed only 1 hit. He'll deal with Bonds, Kent, and Snow. Bonds takes the ball. 1-0 from Stevenson is pounded foul. They're in the 8th inning in Cincinnati with the Reds leading the Rockies 4-3, in case you're wondering. The 1-1 to Bonds. The big bats for the Giants after the big bats for the Cardinals went quietly in the 6th. The 2-1. Chase one there, 2-2, and he knows it.
And you also know that Tony La Russa hopes that his pitchers do the same to Barry Bonds that Kurt Reeder and the Giants pitchers are instructed. Don't let this guy beat you in a game.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bonds took ball 3. Bonds has flied to center. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also struck out 3 times in this series. And he hits a tracer up the middle to the right of Polanco. They had him shaded over to pull. And Bonds is on with a leadoff single, just the 2nd hit of the night for the Giants.
Barry's off to a great start. You know, not only leading the major leagues with 26 home runs, but see, this ball just absolutely scorched. Polanco more in the hole. He would almost have to be playing straight away or straight up on that ball because it was hit so hard, much like a McGuire ground ball.
So now the go-ahead run is on, and Jeff Kent, their big run producers, at the plate 0 for 2. Ball 1.
When you have somebody like Bonds who frequently gets walked, it opens up a lot of RBI situations for the next man. And Kent has come through, leading the National League in RBIs.
Into center field, hard hit, but right at that guy. 1 out. So there's a break for Stevenson. From custom-made clothing to business casual, experience the confidence of always looking your best. Visit Seville Row. Let them help you design a complete wardrobe with their unique personal planning service. 1 on, 1 out for J.T. Snow, who has the other San Francisco hit. A leadoff double back in the 5th. He scored on a sac fly by Aurelia.
It's the first hit allowed by Garrett, and he has had his troubles with J.T. He's now 3 for 5 when facing Garrett.
Ball up and away to the former Yankee and former Angel.
Really struggled in the month of June. A 310 overall average, but came in with 5 for 30 in the month of June.
Jack Thomas Snow Jr. gets one up and in, 2-0.
Dad back on his perch.
He watched the highlights, and JT lived the experience of getting hit in the eye on a pitch from Randy Johnson back in '97 during spring training. The 2-0.
Oh, that was unbelievable, and either he was back in action on opening day or really there very quickly thereafter.
He missed most of spring training. Suffered a fracture to the lower orbit of his left eye. But had a great year. And that's a check swing foul, 2-2. That was in '97. He hit .281 in his first year with the Giants.
And Joe, you know, we showed pictures last night of George Kissel. Today he doesn't look. Looks like he really lost the battle, but the doctors were just absolutely amazed at how lucky he was.
1 on, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. They had Bond with an awfully large lead. He was just back safely.
George Kissel during batting practice was hit by a line drive. As you see Barry, that little false step towards second, and he gets back right ahead of the tag. So if the ball would have hit him in the temple, he would have died. The ball would have hit him below the eye orbit, would have knocked his eye out. And as it was, it just sort of, he's got two black eyes and little, but nothing more. That was a tough pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
That was a pitch there that JT was at the mercy of the umpire. Garrett probably threw that ball exactly where he wanted to.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Time call. A leadoff hit by Bonds. Kent lined into center. And the 3-2 to Snow. Runner goes on ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. There's the first walk handed out by Stevenson. Now it's Ellis Burks who lights up in these situations. Bounced out twice. If you can get him again, you might end the inning with a double play, but he is more than capable of putting the Giants out in front for the first time tonight.
Hit his 17th home run against the Cardinal pitching last night, and Edmonds took away number 18, but he has 269 in his career.
Time called at the plate by Matheny.
You know, that's one thing Garrett has done is he's kept hitters in the ballpark. He's only allowed 8 home runs in the year.
Ah, there's a kiss of death.
He's hit 7 in 21.
Strike 1. Ellis Burks tonight is bounced to first, grounded to second. Cardinal infield playing him to pull. At least Polanco is near the bag, basically out of position before the pitch. One ball, 1 strike as action starts out in the Cardinal bullpen.
Polanco trying to make a little noise, make Bonds think that he's still at the second base bag or near it, and then he'll retreat to his position. I see Orozco throwing, and now Matheny will slow down Stevenson.
So Garrett gets the visit. Orozco's just digging at the mound out there. Not worrying about a thing. He knows coming into a series like this, there are 2 guys that he has to worry about. Bonds and Snow. Here's the 2-1. And a little dribbler back to Garrett. To get the second out. The second and third 2 away. Now you can take your pick. Either pitch to Aurelia, who's 0 for 1 with a sac fly with first base open, or at least pitch carefully with Mirabelli, a 200 hitter, on deck.
Yeah, make sure you get it out. He had a lot more time than he probably thought. Otherwise, he should not have barehanded it. A lot easier to use 2 hands and bring it into the glove. And Burks hit his 3rd ground ball, but not hard enough or at someone.
Second and third, 2 down for Aurelia. The Giants are a hit away from taking the lead. If they're going to play around with him, I'd just as soon they put him on.
And he tried to overthrow that curveball, and you can do that with Matheny or Marrero back behind the plate because you're not afraid to bounce it with a go-ahead run at third. But you don't want to make any mistakes is what you're talking about.
I'm just going on record here to say that I would put this guy on.
I would not. And you know, it's in this point of the game, this is the more accomplished hitter of the 2. You're right.
1 ball, 1 strike.
That's what you've got to get him to do, is reach across the plate, expand the zone, really take the power out of his swing. But signature kiss of death.
0 for 12 since May 14th in this situation. 2 outs and a runner. In this situation, 2 runners in scoring position. The 1-1. Strike 2, and again had him reaching. Stevenson's control is so good. We heard Dave Duncan talk about it before the game. That he can throw a strike with any one of his 3 pitches whenever he wants, and he's putting it right where he wants to Aurelia.
Yeah, off-speed pitch there, the changeup, you know, maybe down a little bit better, but still he got the more important 2-strike. And you know what, really, when he's on, and you've got to say he's on tonight, he works both sides of the plate and also changes with all 3 pitches.
Curveball stays up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Got 90 pitches now.
Second and third, 2 out. A 1-1 game in the 7th, and Stevenson trying to keep it that way. Just got a piece. Just got a piece. Did Aurelia to stay alive. Bonds a leadoff hit. A 1-out walk to Snow. They moved up on the tap out by Burks. The second and third, 2 down. Another 2-2 pitch coming to Rich Aurelia. Got him inside. Away, and then he came inside and got him. So they did pitch to Aurelia. And Stevenson did make great pitches to get out of the jam. 7 strikeouts for Garrett. Time to stretch, tied at 1.
This national sports.
We have finished 6.5 innings. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Langford, Paquette, and Matheny coming up. As Garrett Stevenson, what a job. I went on record and in a way bet against the matchup of Stevenson and Aurelia only because of who was on deck. And you really have to, you could dissect that at bat by Aurelia on the part of Stevenson and really see a guy who worked the hitter over.
Well, Joe, especially on the 2-2 pitch, you know, you sit there and you go, gee, you want to come inside. But that was obviously a time where you don't want to throw a ball in the strike zone inside. And, you know, he got the benefit. He did exactly what he wanted to do with that pitch. You either make it in off the plate or you hit the guy. It didn't matter if you hit him. It didn't matter if you did that. And he got the bonus because he struck him out.
Now Langford trying to get something going in the 7th.
But Aurelia got himself out, and that's the key to pitching.
Langford takes ball 2, 2-0. Langford, Paquette, Matheny. If anybody gets on Stevenson here in the 7th. A 1-1 game. And both starters are doing a fantastic job here tonight. 2-1 on Langford. A 2-1 to Langford. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Leader is exploiting that outside part of the plate direct.
We can do it with different pitches.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The 2-2. Langford lines a base hit into center. And the leadoff man is on for the Cardinals for the 2nd consecutive inning.
Well, a 1-1 game, when you get in the second half of the game, one pitch can determine it, or one batter. So let's go back to the Aurelia's bat. Strike 1. And you see how he reaches? He's got him off balance, reaching for a breaking ball. That's strike 1. Strike 2 is almost the same thing, but there's no power in there. Then you look at this, how he locks him up inside. It's still another ball. but he gets him to swing at it, and a really a self-defense swing. That is what you call pitching, not throwing.
Now Paquette lines one foul off to the right. Action starts for the Cardinals in the bullpen. Matt Morris.
And Felix Rodriguez starts throwing along with a lefty in the Giants pen. There's Matt Morris. Boy, what a weapon. Aaron Fultz and Rodriguez. And we talked about the 90 pitches. He misses control and starts getting hit hard.
1 ball, 1 strike with Matheny on deck. And after Matheny, it's Stevenson's spot.
100 pitches right now. Pitched a great ball game, and oftentimes he's only got 4-4 record. He's picked off a man already this year, and base stealers have not been successful. 5 for 5, including that one pickoff, have gone down with Reeder on the mound.
Change up, strike 2. What a game. A fun game. It's a 1-1 game, and a rarity these days in the big leagues. Colorado has taken a 6-4 8th inning lead at Cincinnati. With 3 in the 8th. Here's the 1-2. And now Paquette just does get a piece. Langford on at first with nobody out. A leadoff hit against the lefty Reeder. See those eyes darting over toward first where Langford is. The 1-2. Away. For Reeder, his 5th strikeout. And the batter will be Matheny. I would imagine now, and right now he's just tossing leisurely down to the bullpen as we look at the strikeout. Kept it down and away. You've got to be careful with Morris in the bullpen when you warm him up to get him into a game, because if he's out there throwing hard right now, Matheny could bounce into a double play to end the inning, or he could make an out. You don't feel like pinch hitting, and you don't use Morris. That way you basically use him out in the bullpen, and he's not available for a day or two.
Very, very good point. And Marty Mason's down there, and I'm sure they told him that, you know, if we get into a situation with Stevenson coming up, that they probably, and it all depends on where Langford is.
He is not throwing right now to come in the game.
He's stretching out, but he is under those, because it's not a given that Stevenson would be pinch hit for.
He's loosening up, but you can see the pace.
And Joe, what a great, and that's another thing about Garrett Stevenson, the way he has shown his ability to go deep into a ball game. You know, a lot of times a starter goes 7 innings and you say, hey, I'll get him out of here. Well, with Stevenson, you don't have any problem having him go out for the 8th.
Ball 1 to Matheny. Mike has been intentionally passed, and he has struck out.
Now, if they get 2 men on, then you would really question if they didn't pinch hit for Garrett.
One ball, no strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Langford, in case you're wondering, is 3 out of 6 in the stolen base department. And he may have thoughts of trying to swipe a base here. Big lead.
Be very quick, very careful, because Reeder has a good move. And he's trying to catch you leaning or taking that extra step towards second.
Matheny tries to bunt his way on. The runner does go down to second, but no hit. That's a bunt for a hit, although they may give him the sacrifice. They do give him the sacrifice, but that's 2 outs in the inning. And now that makes the decision all the more difficult. They're going to stick with Stevenson.
So, let's talk to why. Thomas Howard has never faced Reader, of course, the stats I've got. Then you've got Dunston, who is a 118 average against him. Marrero, 273. And you got Drew, his 0 for 3, and Sutton has never faced him. So it's not like somebody had a lot of success or a good matchup for Tony.
And Stevenson is 1 out of 2 tonight with an RBI single.
Yeah, it may be one of those situations where you kind of asked Tony after the game if he liked what Matheny did or not.
Well, it didn't work, so I know he didn't like it.
Yeah.
All it did in the end was make the decision that much more tempting to lift Stevenson for a pinch hitter, but there are 2 outs in the inning. And Matheny does that a lot, where he'll drop down a bunt of the third baseman's back, and he's usually good at it, but that one was just too close to Reader. And Reader's now 1 strike away from getting through 7 innings.
That's with Garrett at the plate. The outfielders are very shallow, so even with a base hit to the outfield, there possibly could be a good play at the home plate.
Just low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Garrett would say he would expect that one to be called on if he was on the mound.
Maybe he can get him again. 2-2 pitch. 3-2 as he misses low with Polanco next.
Well, you know, one of the biggest bats of the year Stevenson had, he was given the take and he ended up walking to extend an inning for a winning.
Ground ball is short. Aurelia has it. The inning is over. So the Cardinals get a leadoff hit from Langford. Stevenson grounds out. Cards have left 5. We go to the 8th, still tied at 1.
Here in St. Louis, we're all knotted at 1-all going to the 8th inning. Baseball Thursdays. MVP candidate Barry Bonds leads the Giants against Mark McGwire and the division-leading Cardinals tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. There's Mark McGwire, the leading active home run hitter in the major leagues, and Barry Bonds is chasing him. And of course, Mark is chasing Barry in the Major League Home Run League. And that'll all take place here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Stevenson gets another shot at the Giants here in the 8th inning. Did a great job to get out of trouble in the 7th. It'll be Mirabelli. Then Reader is in the on-deck circle. I think a lot depends on what happens with this at bat by Mirabelli. There's a fastball strike from Stevenson. He just keeps pouring it in there.
If you think about it, Joe, Stevenson probably is our most durable starter. And a guy that can go, consistently go deeper into a game. 94 pitches, and look at that still. He just keeps on firing strikes. Better than 2-1.
He's 0-2 here on Mirabelli, who struck out and tapped back to Stevenson. If you want to get 2 outs in this inning, or at least have a better chance to get 2 outs in a hurry, you get Mirabelli. As it looks like the Giants would send Reader back to the plate with the bases empty. Now it's 2-2. If Mirabelli gets on, then he's probably running or lifted for a pinch hitter. Their bullpen is ready to go when they need it. Into left field, well hit. Back is Langford at the wall. Can't get it. Home run into the bullpen, and Mirabelli has just put the Giants on top 2-1.
Boy, that's the one thing. It's very dangerous pitching inside late in a game, and that's why you always say you want to pitch inside off the plate, not in the strike zone. But Ray Langford could have, I don't know if he could have reached the ball, but he sure could have gotten to the wall quicker. It's just a high fly ball. And Ray kind of drifting back, but get right to the wall, back up against it, and then jump. And, I mean, he never really got the glove much over the fence. He jumped into the back of them. Look at, watch and see as he jumps up that if he doesn't, yeah, the glove hits the wall instead of getting up to know where he was and get up over the wall.
So that is the worst scenario possible. And they're going to pinch it anyway. Our Mondo Rios is going to be at the plate. Cardinals leave Stevenson in to hit in the bottom of the 7th, and he comes up. It's 0-2 on Mirabelli, misses with a couple of breaking balls, and then Mirabelli hits a game-breaking home run, or at least a tie-breaking home run here in the 8th. I don't think you and I, well, I know you and I have no problem with as Rio shoots one down into the corner, and now it's looking worse and worse. Have no problem with Stevenson staying in to hit in the bottom of the 7th the way he had been pitching. Now the decision doesn't look like the right one, only because of the first 2 hitters here in the 8th. Mirabelli the home run, Rios the pinch hit double, and Reeder, if he gets a decision, will be a winner.
And Dave Duncan will come out and talk to him. They got Jesse Orozco throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. And you know, sometimes you get late in the ball game, you just got to keep on fighting with your adrenaline, and once you get one, you know, once you hit the one hit, you can't complicate it by making a careless pitch. I'm sure that's what Duncan, just slow him down, try to talk to him a little bit, see, you know, you want to give him a chance to get this lead back, or his teammates to get the lead back for him. He's pitched that well. Only allowed 4 hits now, and 2 of them coming here in the 8th.
So now Bernard with a runner at second and nobody out. Cardinals expect a bunt. Giants lead 2-1.
100 pitches, 70% of them strikes.
And the bunt is a good one. Tough play. Paquette, no chance. And it's first and third. And a bunt hit by Marvin. Reached.
Kind of deadens out there, and that was a much further than I first thought. And Bernard with that great speed, perfectly well placed bunt. And this has to be Garrett's last batter.
With Bonds on deck and Orozco in the bullpen, that is almost a certainty.
And with
Miller, the switch hitter, with first and third, nobody out. Strike 1.
Especially with Miller batting .349 from the right side, .271 from the left. So you want to keep him batting left-handed, but with Bonds on deck, you just hope it's still a 2-1 game when Orozco comes in to face Bonds.
First and third, nobody out. A run in for the Giants, and Miller pops it up.
Great pitch.
1 out, a big out. Stevenson has made some fantastic pitches here tonight, and there was no better pitch than that one there. He got exactly what that pitch was designed to get.
Well, in this situation, first and third, nobody out, you're already trailing by 1 run. You need a strikeout or a pop-up. And Bill Miller, don't kid yourself, he's a tough little battler there, and that was a great pitch. And as we said, that now Orozco will come in and hopefully he can do the job. Garrett can only be the loser, and he pitched very, very well.
Very well. But the Cardinals stuck with him for the 8th inning. The 9-2 right-hander will exit as he and the Cardinals try to keep this what is now a 1-run Giant lead. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Lowe's. Call Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. Stevenson gone, 2-1 Giants, and they're threatening for more here in the 8th. Stevenson out. The right-hander, Stevenson's 9-2. He's pitched a terrific ball game heading into this 8th inning. I think you have to reward him for the kind of season he's having, for the way he's pitching, for the way he got out of that 7th inning by getting Burks and Aurelia and striking out Aurelia. I, again, have no problem with him running back out there for the 8th inning. That's one thing. The other is he made a bad pitch on 2-2 to Mirabella.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you know, no doubt about it. You got to make sure if you're pitching inside that you get it far enough in. This guy has been pretty busy over the 4 decades. He is the 8th pitcher in big league history to pitch 4 decades. Mike Morgan became the 9th later that night. He is the all-time major league leader in games pitched at 1,096, and his last pitch was a week ago. I was kind of kidding him. I said, are you still on the disabled list or not? But it actually has worked to his advantage, where he might have been rushed back a little bit, but he gave him an opportunity to kind of get in shape this past week or so. But now it's back to reality, facing one of the best in the business.
This is the life of Jesse Orozco. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and a check on Bernard over at first. Orozco has different guys pinpointed on each team throughout the league, and he knows when the Cardinals play the Giants, he has to worry about Bonds, who's 3 for 17 against him. Probably Snow. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and ball 1 to Barry Bonds.
And with the activity, and of course he was spent a long time on the disabled list, you know, you first you get yourself healthy. Next, you try and work on your command and your control, but that's only going to take mound appearances and game action. That was close to a balk.
Really close. That would have cost a run.
Slocum throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals behind Orozco, so situational guy. He's only facing Bonds.
1st and 3rd, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes.
That's what Jesse can do. Curveball, keep it well away from a left-handed swinger. Throwing up inside to keep you honest with diving out across the plate. You know the difference between Jesse and I?
What's that?
Well, other than I'm much older.
The 1-1 to Bonds with runners at the corners. Oh, pretty good pitch. 2-1.
We're both left-handed. We both have a heartbeat, but he has a curveball. The old adage, you know, that you can pitch forever if you got a curveball and left-handed. Never had one.
43-year-old left-hander behind on the count to Bonds. 2-1. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. 2-1 Giants here in the 8th. 3-1.
And that's what I'm talking about, where it's tough for Jesse, pitching so infrequent right now, to have the command. And remember, he's facing one of the best hitters in all history, in all century play. But he wants this opportunity, and more times than not, he'll win.
The Reds have lost again. They lose to Colorado 6-4. So the Cardinals right now are 7 up in the division. And we're not in danger of losing a game to the Reds. And we need to send out thanks again to our old friend Jose Jimenez. He got another save.
All right.
1st and 3rd, 1 out. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Bonds. Got him looking. 2 gone. For the 4th time in this series, Bonds strikes out. And now if you could hold this to a 1-run inning, keep it a 1-run game, the Cardinals ought to fire off that field.
Well, you know what? They're going to let Jesse pitch because of snow on deck. So I think they're going to say, hey, you know, you do have a base open. It happens to be second base, but one of those tough situations where you go, you know, don't give me anything to hit, but don't
Don't give him anything to hit, just don't walk.
Well, you can walk him, but how about that?
Orozco's first major league win, April 22nd of '79. 3 months later, Rick Ankiel was born.
Also, another way to get you in perspective is Orozco faced Lou Brock.
Now they are going to intentionally walk Kent. And it'll be bases loaded for either J.T. Snow or a pinch hitter.
Yeah, I like this move. I mean, this is what Jesse knows he's all about. Is, you know, you got to come in and get one or two key left-handers, and
that's ball 3. This will load him up, and Snow, a left-handed batter with his dad watching from behind the plate, will have a bases loaded 2-out situation in front of him.
Remember, it was a couple years ago that JT was a switch hitter, but he was so bad from the right side that he just abandoned it. And now this year he's a .267 hitter versus left-handed pitching, .323 versus right-handed pitching. But he finally said, heck with the switch hitting if I'm just an out.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Orozco got Bonds. The intentional walk to Kent. And it's up to Snow.
You know, it's one of those situations. You know, Jesse gets Snow out. Cardinals win this game.
You heard it here first. That hits Snow, and that forces home a run. 3-1. That'll be it for Orozco. I don't think JT was in a big hurry to get out of the way of that pitch. And the hit by pitch forces home the run.
Well, it wasn't as blatant as some that we see. He did kind of slowly try to turn, but that's another big insurance run for the Giants.
So Orozco gets Bonds. They walk Kent. That's the danger of doing that. You have to be perfect then against a guy like Snow, and Orozco hit him. Going to the bullpen, brought to you by Lowe's. Call Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. Giants up by 2, still have the bases loaded, 2 out as we continue in the 8th. FanFest legend of the game, every Fox Sports Net telecast. Someone wins $50 from the Cardinals team store and a baseball autograph by us. Tonight's FanFest legend of the game is Bob Gibson. To enter our random drawing, visit foxsports.com Midwest before 10 a.m. tomorrow. Click on Bob Gibson and you could win. Good luck. Well, the bases are still loaded, 2 out. It's up to Slocum now to deal with Ellis Burks, who could bust this thing wide open. It's 3-1 Giants.
One of the things with Morris and Bennis there, now Heathcliff is not being overworked. Now second on the club in appearances and innings pitched. One good thing, he's only allowed 3 of 20 inherited runners to score.
That's into left field, sending Langford back. Should end the inning. That'll do it for the Giants. A long fly ball, 1 pitch from Slocum to get out of the inning, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Top of the order coming up for the Cardinals. They now trail by 2. To the bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals will come to the plate now, trailing for the first time tonight. Baseball Today delivers the inside pitch and all the day's baseball news from our powerful lineup of big league experts. Baseball Today, weekdays at 5 on Fox Sports Net. Well, a lot of decisions in this game, and you know, that's what makes managing fun. That's what makes second guessing fun, and I'm sure that all the call-in shows, you will have a day full of calls tomorrow about whether or not to leave Stevenson in.
Fairways and greens tomorrow.
Good for you.
Yes, sir.
But the bottom line is everybody complains about starters not going deeper into games, and you don't stick with your starters. Too many moves are being made, too many relievers coming in. Again, I think you have to give Stevenson the benefit of the doubt going back out there for the 8th inning against the bottom of the order. And It just didn't work out. Not everything works out the way you plan it. Here's Felix Rodriguez in the game. This guy throws 96, 97 miles an hour, and he will face the Cardinal top 3 hitters, Polanco, Renteria, and McGuire.
Yeah, and Stevenson ended up with 103 pitches. Not like it's 133, so that's still within his realm. But you're right, Rodriguez has actually been the best reliever for the Giants. Rob Nen, their closer, has been a little inconsistent coming off the elbow surgery, and here's a converted catcher from the Dodgers organization, and now he's putting it all together.
The 1-0 to Polanco. Well, he's losing velocity with every pitch. He went from 97 to 96 on the radar gun.
Just setting them up.
One ball, one strike. Polanco hitting .319. That's back. It's trying to get out of play, and it will. Strike 2.
Yeah. And Polanco, I'm not too sure he didn't hurt himself. Watch after he swings. And first of all, he's going after a pitch up there that's a pitcher's pitch. You can't get on top of that one. But after he swings, and that's all we need is somebody, is it the knee or something with the leg? See, he hyperextended that knee, I think, the left one.
Appears to be all right as he waits for a 1-2 pitch.
He knows the situation. We're a little bit short of infielders. Of course, Dunston could come out and play.
Kent to his right takes care of Polanco. 1 away. Placido 0 for 4. Cardinals playing the next couple of weeks without Vigna. That makes a difference. Here's Renteria. Edgar is hitless tonight. Top 2 hitters in this lineup are a combined 0 for 7. McGuire's singled and walked twice. Edmonds 0 for 3. Davis a double and a run scored. Langford has a hit. Stevenson had a hit. The Cardinals have only 4. The Giants have only 5. Well pitched, well played game, and the Giants are up by 2. To Renteria. See if he can get on for McGuire, who waits to bat next. Told you Colorado beat Cincinnati 6-4. That means the Cardinals will stay at least 6.5 games up in this 2-team race in the NL Central. Two balls, no strikes. Renteria trying to get something going. The crowd trying to get behind him. I like that. Looked like he was up there taking a strike. 2-1.
Why not? This is an old-fashioned baseball game, so why not play by the old rules?
That's right. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out, nobody on. Should be the second out into right center field, and Bernard. 2 gone, and the best McGuire can do is make it a 1-run game here in the 8th. McGuire with the bases empty. He's had a perfect night.
Well, what Tony's responding to is the fact that a lot of times Renteria will chase pitches that are up and out of the strike zone. With a guy that throws as hard as Rodriguez, there's 2 things that can happen. You either swing through it or you pop it up.
He went immediately over to Mike Easler to tell Easler, who will sure say something to Edgar. 2 out, nobody on. McGuire pops it up. Foul territory and a chance for Snow just out of his reach and caught by DeJohn with his dad ready to run over there and help from behind the plate.
Well, what a great effort. Here's a Gold Glove first baseman, and he's kind of had a monopoly on it. It starts to go over, and you see Mark DeJohn, the coaches, kind of stops him on his back, and then Easter's there to help out.
0-1 on McGuire with 2 out, nobody on. Edmonds on deck. The big bats will swing again before the end of this one. 98 on the stadium radar gun. I couldn't catch what it was on our radar gun. Upper 90s. 93 on ours. So whatever you want to pick, the slow gun, the fast gun, he's throwing hard.
Well, you look at this body, and he just looks like a pitcher, doesn't he? But he was a converted catcher from the Dodger organization.
Okay, well, now it doesn't make any sense because it was 98 on the radar gun on our screen and 95 on the radar gun here at the ballpark.
Oh, well.
Previous pitch, the gun was faster here at the park.
And, you know, the guns are all cranked up. They calculate them a different way to make them higher to begin with.
That'll do it for the Cardinals as Snow wants it. And has it. A 1-2-3-8 for Felix Rodriguez. We go to the ninth. Slocum back to the hill. Giants bat up by 2. Top of the ninth. It's a 3-1 Giants lead. They've out hit the Cardinals 5-4. The National Sports Report is just around the corner, featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective. Royals and Angels, Isaiah to the Pacers, it would seem so, and open mic night, I guess, for Mark Grace. Slocum did a nice job with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. At least kept the team in the game. Got a fly ball to the track, hit by Burks. And now Aurelia takes a tailing delivery inside for ball 1. Aurelia, Mirabelli, and then Rios. Two balls, no strikes. Where's that pitch? 3-0. Three balls and a strike. Aurelia struck out with second and third, 2 out in the 7th as Stevenson did a terrific job to get him for the final out. Now he gets a base hit up the middle to start the 9th inning. 3-1 pitch, and Slocum had to bring it to him, and Aurelia didn't miss it.
They had to change a couple things around. The Cardinals were 0-2 coming in tonight, tied after 7 innings, and they're 0-28 trailing after 8.
And they may be 0-1 every night that Mirabelli hits a home run in a tie game, 8th inning, leading off against Stevenson.
Well, I think it was a 2-2 pitch. He's a dead fastball hitter. He's kind of looking for that, and I know Garrett wanted to get that ball up and in, but he didn't. And that's what you've really got to be careful late in a ball game. Trying to pitch inside and throwing an inside strike is a very dangerous proposition. That was a much different pitch than the one they struck out earlier.
Mirabelli to bunt, and he shoots at the first. It just stayed fair, so the tag for the out. Sacrifice good. Down to second is Aurelia. And the batter will be Armando Rios, who doubled as a pinch hitter last inning. Well, Rob Ned's getting ready. The Giants have a 2-run lead, and here is another decision. We've talked about a lot of Cardinal decisions, Al. We're going to get a new pitcher now with Rios and Bernard, left-handed batters coming up. We're going to get Matthews out of the bullpen. But the decision on the other side now, let's say it stays 3-1, be awfully tough to take out Felix Rodriguez the way he just went through the top of the order, but that may happen. In the bottom of this ninth, right now, with a runner at second and one out, a call to the bullpen brought to you by Lowe's. Call Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's improving home improvement. Runner at second, one out. Dusty Baker thinking it over. Mike Matthews coming on to pitch to Armando Rios. It's a 3-1 Giants lead with a runner at second, one out, and Mike Matthews is into the game to face Rios and Bernard.
Limited duties here. He's appearing for the 7th time, and the most important thing is to think about what he did in the Los Angeles series, where he retired each of the 3 batters he faced, Santangelo, Hollinsworth, and Cora, during the weekend. He was a starter at Memphis in 9 games. He was 3-1, the ERA of 3.12. He allowed just 33 hits in 52 innings. He walked 32, struck out 50, and a left-hander's only batted 160 against him.
So Rios gets the first shot at Mike Matthews. Matthews starting to get settled here at the big league level. He's been a nice addition to this bullpen. Runner at second, one out, and it's up to Matthews to keep it within reach. It's 3-1 Giants. The Cards in the bottom of this ninth will have Edmonds, Davis, Langford, Paquette due up fourth. So, boy, it'd be nice to have it a 2-run game in the bottom of the inning. That's up to Matthews. Rios took a ball. Nice job in L.A. by Mike Matthews.
That's what I said. Retired all 3 batters he faced there. And you know, sometimes even though you come up to the big leagues, you want to give these hitters a lot more credit than they deserve. You make mistakes, they'll make you pay, but you can get them out too.
There's a check swing ground ball. Out at first. Nobody covered third as Paquette fell asleep. Over to third is the runner. That's Aurelia, 2 out in the inning.
Yeah, give Aurelia some credit there, and Tony can't be pleased. Now, Paquette came break over in case the ball got by Matthews, but once the ball was caught by Matthews, you've got to retreat back to the bag. Or even if he would have gone halfway back, just if he would have backpedaled and got in front of the base path and got in the way of Aurelia, that would have stopped him. But they give the good base running there. See, Aurelia knows there's nobody at third base, and he could just walk right over. I'm not sure Pokey could have stopped him, but at least he could have scared him.
Here's a ball inside to Bernard. With Bernard's running speed, that runner at third with 2 out makes a big difference. Runner at third, 2 down. The 1-0 pitch from Matthews. 2-0. On deck is the switch hitting Miller. Well, you're right. All Craig had to do was just take a step or 2 back toward the bag, and Aurelia doesn't go.
And even gone halfway back towards you know, the shortstop area or his normal position. Just something to just say, I'm standing here. I could get, you know, they could throw it to me.
There's ball 3 from Matthews to Bernard. Mike James is getting ready out in the bullpen. Runner at third, 2 out, the 3-0. There's a strike from Mike. Mike James is getting ready out of the bullpen in case he's needed. That's another thing that Morris's presence does for you. They didn't work tonight, so if you need a guy tomorrow, you've got Morris, and he's more than a 1-inning guy, so you can empty the bullpen tonight. That's one into right center field. It adds to the lead. A base hit by Bernard. In to score Aurelia, and it's 4-1 Giants. It's a big run for San Francisco. Now the Cards need 2 runners to have a chance in the bottom of the inning.
Let's see where the pitch is. Look at Matheny's glove. It was away. He reaches right back down to the middle of the plate and down right into the wheelhouse of Bernard. His 22nd RBI, and not a good pitch. And we're talking about location, not second guessing the type of pitch.
So the first, and the runner gets back. Big 2-out RBI hit by Bernard. They've come up with the hits tonight when they've needed to. Cardinals really, if Miller fouls it out of play, the Cardinals really haven't had many scoring chances. You look down the line, and while we are quick to praise Stevenson, and he's deserving of it, you have to look at Reeder and then Felix Rodriguez. They've just flat out outpitched the Cardinals here tonight. And that's saying something with the kind of start that Stevenson turned in. Reeder 7 innings, 1 run, 4 hits. Rodriguez 1 perfect inning. 0-2 on Miller.
Yeah, Joe, there are times when 2 pitchers or 2 staffs pitch well.
It's so rare.
And there's still got to be a loser. And it is rare in today's baseball, but you go back to Bob Gibson's great season of 1968, 22-9. But how do you lose 9 games when you have a 1.12 ERA?
Wow.
He had 13 shutouts that year.
Here's the 0-2 to Miller. Instead, Matthews steps off.
And he was involved in 15 1-0 ball games. Obviously, he didn't win them all, and you lost 9.
0-2 on Miller. Runner at first with 2 out. That'll end the inning. But the Giants get a run. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Giants have left 7. It'll be Edmonds, Davis, and Langford as the Cards try to get something going in the ninth, trailing by 3.
Sportsnet was brought to you in part by Bud Light, the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Rob Nen will come in and try to close this one down for Dusty Baker and the Giants. He is their closer, but he is not as sharp as he has been in the past because he had some elbow surgery. He does have 10 saves. He does have a good ERA, but he has lost 3 ball games. And Joe, you know, the Cardinals are going to have to do something here. They're 0-28, I believe, when they trail after 8 innings. 0-28 after trailing after 8 innings. So we got to see if we can steal one here in the ninth.
Well, let's see what happens. The Cardinals certainly will have a chance with the guys they have coming to the plate. They not only have Edmonds, Davis, Langford. Then the bottom of the order will roll in. Paquette. The Cardinals have Drew and Thomas Howard. Sean Dunston available on their bench. So they'll have their cracks at it, but they're facing a hard-throwing, nasty right-hander, Rob Nen. But we said it last inning, you're not going to get any harder throwing or nastier stuff than the guy that just left the mound, Felix Rodriguez. He was perfect against the top of the lineup.
Yeah, they say he's actually been their most consistent reliever, but Rob has the experience of closing out a game. Left-handed batters are batting .209 against him. Right-handers .190.
So Edmonds will try to get it going. Jim is 0 for 3. Has made a good defensive play in tonight's game. Over the shoulder grab back in left center field for a sac fly from Aurelia. And he'll try to get something going. Cardinals have only 1 run on 4 hits. Cincinnati lost tonight at home to Colorado, so they will not lose any ground. Edmonds is taking, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Rodriguez was throwing 97, 98, and then comes in with the first pitch 96. Ball and a strike from Rob Nen.
Nen has 195 lifetime saves, currently ranked 25th on the all-time major league list. Has 5 outings on the homestand. He was perfect in ERA.
That's pretty well hit into right field. Back is Rios at the wall. 1 out.
Boy, it sure sounded good coming off the bat. Right off the end of the bat, and that took a little bit of the distance out. And Rios right there. Nen was 1-1 with 2 saves and a 0 ERA in 5 innings during the just completed homestand.
Tough to find the baseball through all those moths flying around out in right field. Here's Eric Davis. Strike one. Veteran Edmonds took a strike. Davis was up there taking a strike. 4-1 Giants in the 9th inning. A little high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Then part of a world championship for the Marlins in '97. And he's behind on the count to Davis. 2 balls and a strike. Eric hit the ball hard. The second, a leadoff double, then hit a scorcher to short, fielded by O'Reilly in the 3rd, bounced into a 5-4-3 double play in the 6th. The 2-1. Broken bat, tough play. Aurelia makes it. 2 out. And just fortunately for Nen, as he looks up to a higher power for thanks, the big end of the bat just missed him. Cardinal fans, tonight's play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. A great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. A home run by Mirabelli leading off in the 8th. Right now the winning run. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 9th, and the Cardinals down by 3.
That pitch wasn't far enough in for a guy that's a fastball hitter just looking for something that he can drive, and wasn't up and in as far enough. And you just saw Ray Langford once again not getting back quick enough, and when he went to jump, his glove actually ran into the top of the padding at the top of the wall and stopped it from going up over the wall to bring it back.
0-1 on Langford. Each guy has taken a strike in this 9th inning, down by 3. And Langford gets a base hit. Maybe he's coming around. 2 out of 4 tonight. This game continues. It gets past Rios out in right. And Langford will at least end up at 3rd. They'll hold him there, and he's there with 2 out. Well, there's a little life. A single and an error.
Rios can't be happy with himself. He just put in for defensive purposes. But Ray's second base hit. And, you know, a lot of times you don't see him turn on a ball. There you see the ball get underneath the glove of Rios. Ray's got it in front of him. He doesn't need to look for a third base coach until he saw Oquendo stop him at 3rd.
Well, now, because of that run in the top of this 9th inning, the Cardinals are still a base runner away from having a chance, and it's Thomas Howard off the bench to bat against Den with J.D. Drew on deck.
Gave you those numbers. Left-handers only batting .209, but it's better than the .190 average for right-handed batters. So Thomas Tank Howard being bothered by the moths flying.
And a bender in there for strike 1.
Remember a game in Atlanta that had so many moths like this that all of a sudden bats started coming and attacking the moths.
You had a Mutual of Omaha experience right before your eyes. Howard strike 2, and the Cardinals down to their final strike. A single by Langford, an error by the right fielder Rios, and now with a runner at 3rd, 2 out, the 0-2 to Howard. Game's over. Howard strikes out on 3 pitches, and that'll do it. Cardinals and Giants have split the first 2 games of this series. The Cardinals stay 6.5 games up, and you said it before, we'll say it again. A well-pitched game on each side, and somebody had to lose. Tonight it was the Cardinals.
And, you know, Dusty Baker has seen his ball club really struggle on the road, particularly of late. They have now lost 13 of their last 17.
Hopefully Bonds didn't throw McGuire's back out with that little hug at first base. A 4-1 Giant victory. That'll do it. Our next Cardinal telecast, they'll have the game tomorrow night on Fox Sports Net. This copyrighted telecast has been an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net in association with Bud Sports. For Al, I'm Joe. Now to the Fox Network Center for the National Sports Report. Good night from St. Louis.